Hey guys, GadgetGirlKylie here, and welcome back to my Let's Play walkthrough of Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair, and we are kicking things off with the 5th class trial. Let the wackiness begin. Here we go, guys.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial. During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it. If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person,
You all die.
I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island. Oh my, Monokuma? My cute little sister? You're awfully quiet. What's happened to you? You've ascended the ladder of adulthood and reached the moon? Because you're a rabbit?
It might be one of the Monokuma plushies instead.
Yes-o!
Never mind. Oh, maybe it is.
One more time!
Oh no! Stop beating up Monokuma. I like Monokuma now.
How about this one? This will be my final blow! It's useless.
Please stop! I feel bad for Monokuma.
I feel bad for Monokuma for a while now.
You're right. Now's not the time for me to horse around with Monokuma. The class trial has started, after all. The victim this time is Nagito, who was attempting to reveal the traitor for everyone's sake. Who in the world killed him? I'm so curious.
If he was killed for trying to reveal the traitor, that traitor is obviously the killer. They were trying to shut Nagito up.
I think it's Chucky.
No, that might not be it.
Huh? Are you trying to protect the traitor? They didn't call out when we were in danger. Wait. Don't tell me you're the traitor.
He's too thick to be the traitor.
Don't say something so stupid. There's no way in hell I'm the traitor.
Now that's more like it. Why don't you guys hurry and start arguing already?
Here we go, non-stop debate time. Let's let this convo play out.
The killer didn't take Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why he was so beat up. What were they trying to find out by torturing him? Definitely the bomb's hiding place. If so, the suspect is whoever found the bomb first.
That was Fuyuhiko.
I found it by coincidence. There's no way I'd torture someone.
You are a member of the Yakuza after all.
The killer didn't take Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with...
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why...
Ah,
So
missed.
what were they trying to
Let's
find
do that
out
again.
about hiding? If so, is whoever found the... That was Fuyuhiko. I found it by coincidence.
There's no way I'd torture someone.
The killer didn't take that. I'm telling you, they were... The reason Nagito's body was covered...
It's because the killer tortured Nagito. No, that's wrong.
There we go.
But Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape, so he wouldn't have been able to confess anything. If he was being tortured for information, they wouldn't have taped his mouth like that.
I'm prepared.
Oh, a showdown already? That's a bit soon.
Ah, I just realized it. It's a trap.
trap?
Stupid Hajime! You got caught in that trap!
That's rich. Coming from you.
Like you said,
If Nagito's mouth was taped shut,
you obviously assume he couldn't talk, right? But that was the trap! He wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated.
I can't back down!
Success.
But if you tape his mouth shut, how is he supposed to answer anything?
Pay attention, this is how first the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb. Then, after they killed him,
Allow me to cut through those.
Bam.
No, there's no doubt Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape before he was beat up.
what did you say?
Who cares about the duct tape? Might as well settle this with rock, paper, scissors.
What? Can't take that
We don't need to play
chance.
a game. It's clear the duct tape was on his mouth before the torture even began.
Why do you always side with Hajime? You have a crush on him or something?
You were with us when I peeled the duct tape off Nagito's mouth, right? The blood on Nagito's face wasn't under the duct tape, remember?
The blood on his face came from his arm wounds. Which means the duct tape was on his face before his arms were even wounded.
And the duct tape had a lot of crinkles around his mouth. He must have been struggling to open his mouth under the duct tape.
Perhaps the duct tape was used so we wouldn't be able to scream. Then it's like I said at the beginning. The tape wasn't for torture. It was to keep his mouth shut.
He says that with that grin on his face.
However, if they wanted to seal his mouth, they did not need to hurt him with such ferocity.
They probably had a deep grudge against Nagito.
Then, are you saying the killer was trying to make him suffer?
If so, friggin' crazy. Did they go psycho or something?
No, they didn't just go crazy. Whoever did this must be one crafty bastard. If not, they wouldn't have taken the time to set fire to the crime scene and destroy all the evidence.
Hmm? The warehouse fire was for destroying evidence?
You can't think of any other reason.
But who could have done that? When the fire occurred, everyone in this room was gathered in front of the warehouse.
That's true.
Yeah. And right after I opened the warehouse door, the flames started burning from the very back.
Which means, it is plausible to think that nobody here set the fire.
The killer isn't one of us. But that's not the case, huh? I mean, it's wishful thinking.
Even if it was only a coincidence, the timing was just too perfect.
Based on the pattern up until now, we should suspect that some kind of setup was used for this.
Some kind of setup? Like what?
I do not know that, but that has been the pattern before.
Oh, I love
That's
Sonia.
obvious, Sonia. You have such an amazingly high intellect. Alrighty then. Let's think about this based on what Miss Sonia thinks.
He's become Ace
Is
Ventura for a
that okay,
moment.
Miss Sonia?
Alrighty then.
Damn right it is! The direct cause of the fire was the oil lighter found at the crime scene, right?
The killer used some kind of setup. He lit the curtain on fire with the lighter.
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
They probably just threw the lighter. Based on the shape of that oil lighter, it can stand upright while the flame is lit.
If they tipped over the lighter in some way, it could have ignited the curtain.
Some way? Maybe they used invisible thread.
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
Or perhaps opening the door caused...
I agree with that.
They were all scattered.
I also agree that opening the door is what started the fire.
Just as I thought, it was the wind pressure. A dust devil blown here from glorious Japan!
I don't think it's as far-fetched as that, Sonia, but there we go.
Not wind pressure. They probably used the Monokuma panels. A huge number of tipped-over Monokuma panels were found at the crime scene, right? It looked like they were scattered everywhere, but some were laying on top of each other in a single line. Just a single line leading from the warehouse door to the fire's origin.
Does that mean anything?
The killer probably arranged those Monokuma panels to create a domino effect.
A domino effect? You mean those tiles kids play with by lining them up and tipping them over?
In place of those tiles, the killer used the Monokuma panels. So when we opened the warehouse door, the first panel toppled into the second. And from there, they fell like dominoes until they reached the lighter at the end.
Makes sense.
But wouldn't it be obvious that those big panels were falling over?
That's probably why they turned off the lights in the warehouse, so we wouldn't notice them.
So the reason the warehouse was dark was to hide the domino effect.
And one more thing. There was something else the killer did to hide the domino effect, right?
It was the MP3 player, wasn't it?
I see! You're talking about the MP3 player, right? That hymn blaring throughout the warehouse masked the sound of the falling panels.
It's very creepy music.
That's it. So the strange sound was actually the sound of the panels falling.
But those sounds weren't the only strange thing, right? Looking back on it, it was also strange when we opened the door to the warehouse.
Yeah, because it needed to be smashed in by Akane.
So the door was being blocked by a Monokuma panel.
And when we opened the door, the domino effect started, and the falling panels eventually reached the lighter.
Yeah, and that's how the warehouse caught on fire. At least, that's how it looks.
You don't look so sure.
At the time, Akane mentioned that she could barely open the door.
Because the panel was blocking it, right?
But the blocked doorway, there wasn't enough space for a person to fit through, right?
Considering Chiaki is my main suspect, she's being very helpful on this trial.
Is that a problem?
It's a major problem. I mean, that door was the only entrance to the warehouse.
panel was so close to the door that it could barely be opened. The killer inside the warehouse wouldn't be able to leave, right?
Now that you mention it.
Which in theory would mean he killed himself.
Does that mean they were hiding inside?
Who? We were all outside the warehouse, you know.
Based on the patterns up until now, I believe some kind of setup was used. You don't have to think so hard. There's actually only one person who could have possibly done this.
You don't mean...
Hajime? What do you mean?
This is my answer. What if it was Nagito?
Dun dun
Why'd
dun!
you bring him up? He's the victim, you know.
He wasn't just the victim. Maybe.
Huh?
Not just the victim? What does that mean?
He was the victim, and he was the perpetrator too. Maybe.
Are you saying this was a suicide? Don't be stupid. His body was covered in torture wounds. Or did you already forget?
Yeah, but that could have also been he's super lucky, so when he was trying to kill himself, he couldn't pull it off.
Are you saying those were all self-inflicted?
But Nagito might do something like that, don't you think?
That's not the issue. He was tied up, remember? Even for a creep like Nagito, it'd be impossible for him to tie up his own arms and legs.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, as long as you understand.
It seems we need to discuss how Nagito was able to tie himself up.
Need to discuss? That's not necessary at all. No matter how much you think about it, it's clearly impossible.
Well, we need to rule it out, so it's best talking about it. Ooh, burned rope maybe? Let's have that as the bullet and see how the combo
your own arms and legs.
pans
That's
out.
obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
What?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
Akane? That was naughty.
To actually tie up your own arms and legs.
No, that's wrong.
There we go.
Hold on a sec. Isn't that premise flawed?
What? I mean, it's no mistake that his arms and legs were...
No, it shouldn't have been both of his arms. The rope on his right arm was completely burnt up. Based on that, you can't say he was tied up.
That was just burned by the fire. He should have been tied up before then.
It burned because of the fire. Like you said, it might look like that. But that was part of the trap. There's concrete evidence that proves it.
His right sleeve.
I see! Take a close look at his right sleeve. Even though the rope was burnt up, his sleeve wasn't burned at all. Wouldn't you agree? A burn like this, no matter how you think about it, is unnatural. That rope was burned in advance so it would look like it was burned in the fire.
Then Nagito's right arm wasn't tied up, right? He was able to move it freely, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, that should be the case.
Hajime, that's awesome! I'll let you cop a feel if you want.
Your reward is to feel my boobs.
Akane, you should not give it away for free. Make sure they pay you first.
Now you want to turn her into a hooker?
That's definitely wrong.
That's definitely wrong. In the Yakuza, I do not pay for it.
Fine.
Anyway.
I just gotta get a Benjamin from him before I let him touch me, right?
That's not what I meant. I'm talking about Nagito. I mean, even if his right hand wasn't tied up, the knife was still stabbed into it, you know.
It's impossible to stab a knife into your right hand with your right hand. Ah, that much is obvious.
Hajime, you tricked me.
Give me back that Benjamin!
Hold on. There should be a way.
Then hurry up and spill it.
If it's something lame, I'll make you give back the Benjamin with 10,000% interest.
Bloody hell, that's harsh. Well, what about the Monokuma plushie that had the hole in its chest? Oh, it is a bullet.
Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way?
Is he a throwing knife expert?
No.
Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
I agree with that.
Yay, it was right. Awesome. So he used the plushie to prop it and then stab himself in his hand.
Life-size Monokuma plushie. He must have used that to prop the knife.
Makes sense. That's why there was a big hole in the plushie's stomach. He inserted the knife handle into that hole to prop it up. Then he slammed his hand onto it. If that's it, he had to place the plushie near him. And it also explains the mysterious blood on the plushie.
So the blood on the plushie came from Nagito after he stabbed the knife into his own right hand.
I see. So that's the trick.
Yep.
But for a moment, I seriously thought Monokuma died or something.
That wouldn't have been bad though, right?
A bleeding plushie is super scary. It's got the same fear factor as a doll whose hair grows too long.
After stabbing his hand, he no longer needed the plushie, so he cast it off toward the fire's origin point.
He probably thought the fire would incinerate it and destroy the evidence.
So what do you think now, Fuyuhiko?
I get what you're saying about the wound on his right hand, but there's still one huge problem. The spear. Basically, you're saying Nagito committed suicide by impaling himself with a spear, right?
Yeah.
If you think about the order, getting killed by the spear should have been the last thing to happen to Nagito. If that's true, how is that possible? He can't grab a spear with his right hand if a knife is stabbed into it and his left hand was all tied up.
Then he probably took the spear first, and as he endured the pain, he stabbed the knife into his right hand.
There is a limit to his constitution. If you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Oh wow, that's a soundbite. If you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly. Oh god. That's not something you want someone to overhear. They might get the wrong end of the dick.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch all that.
Like I said, if you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Oh god, Sonia. Stop repeating it! It's just as bad as when you first said it.
Say it one more time. I need to record it. For reasons.
Oh, Kazuichi!
Hey,
Stop
bastard,
it.
you better cut it out.
Like she said, in that condition, It's very difficult to stab yourself with a spear. It'd be hard to use a spear with a knife stab into your right hand while your left hand is tied up.
So you're saying it's impossible?
But no matter what I think, I can't believe Nagito's death was caused by someone else.
I also agree with that.
Yeah, but she seems like she's leading the investigation to the way she wants.
To think that one of us could kill someone with such cruelty, I could never believe that.
You say you can't believe it? You just don't want to believe it, right? But that's why you keep getting betrayed over and over again, right? Same goes for this time, too.
Well, there's a hint.
You just shut your mouth. It's against the rules to interfere with everyone. If you even think about doing anything, I have a plan of my own.
Monokuma sassing me.
But
Nice.
it's just as Monokuma said. We've been betrayed over and over again so far. So this might also be the same. Calling this a suicide takes too much for granted, and it's too convenient.
Then are you saying there is a killer among us, Kazuichi?
Of course, that doesn't include Miss Sonia and me.
As Kazuichi said, it's true we've been constantly betrayed. But even if I'm betrayed again, I still want to believe in everyone. No matter how many times I may be betrayed, I still want to believe in everyone.
I also want to believe that there's no killer, but suicide is unimaginable.
Do you really think so?
But you said it too. It'd be impossible for him to stab himself with a spear in his condition.
I did say difficult, but I never said impossible.
Huh.
I feel that there's some way he could have stabbed himself with that spear.
What kind of way?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's impossible to figure out by myself. So let's think about it together.
Remember, he didn't have blood on the inside of his left hand, so on his palm, so it's like he was holding something. So I think the next non-stop debate is to do with his left hand.
That's how. We made it this far up till now.
Everyone working together.
All right, let's do this.
Do, 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 do. Love the music. Let's see if it's a bullet. Yes, blood on left hand is a bullet.
How did Nagito stab himself with a spear? Let's work together and think this through.
When the spear stabbed Nagito, his right hand was covered by the knife, right?
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand.
No.
No, that's wrong. Hold on. It's still too early to dismiss the possibility that he used his left hand.
Why? I mean, his left hand was tied up, you know?
But there was something off about his left hand. The bloodstain on the palm of his hand. Don't you think it looked somewhat strange? He only had blood on the lower area of his palm. Beyond that point, the bloodstain suddenly cuts off, right?
When the blood splattered, that's as far as it reached, right?
That settles the description of that bloodstain, but it's not the only unnatural bloodstain. Look, there's blood on the back of his hand, around the middle joints of his fingers.
Yep.
Like you said, it looks like an unnatural bloodstain, but what's wrong with that?
We might need to think and use our imaginations for a bit. If there's blood on his palm and the back of his hand, what was his left hand doing as the blood splattered?
Gripping something?
I see! When the blood splattered, he was probably gripping with his left hand. That's why there's such a strange-looking bloodstain on his palm and the back of his hand.
Was he grabbing his front tail?
Oh, Akane, stop it.
Perish the thought! He was obviously grabbing the spear.
So he was grabbing something long and thick, Sonia.
Now that you mention it, compared to the rest of his body, the wounds on his left arm are pretty mild. He probably made his wounds mild on purpose, so he could keep his strength while he gripped the spear.
But even if he held the spear with his tied-up left hand, it'd be impossible for him to stab himself.
Hey, Chiaki, what do you think?
What about the cord attached to the spear?
Hey, don't tell me you're getting sleepy.
At times like this, you should always strike from a good angle. Just like fixing an old TV.
Karate chop.
Oh, I got it. Maybe.
Huh? Really?
Yeah, like I thought. It's no mistake that Nagito was gripping the spear, I think. However, what's important is what section of the spear he was gripping.
Shaft. Sorry.
I see.
After all the dirty
Instead of
jokes
the
from
handle,
Sonia and
Nagito
Akane,
must have
I
been
couldn't
holding
resist.
onto the cord. There was a metal weight at the tip of the cord, but there were bloodstains on that part too. Plus, the joint between the weight and the cord had a bloodstain shaped like it was cut off by something.
Isn't the size of that cut-off section about the same size as a human fist?
Ding ding ding, we have a winner.
Oh, you're right. So this is the part Nagito was gripping, huh? And then the blood that was supposed to end up here ended up getting on Nagito's left hand.
But why is it so important to know which part of the spear he was gripping?
You're not gonna say he gripped the tip of the cord, swung the spear around, and stabbed himself, right?
That is where the clue to solve this mystery resides. Right, Chiaki? I am sorry. Of course this mystery will not be solved that easily.
Why do I feel like a logic dive is coming up?
It seems we are stuck. Shall we have tea time?
At a time like this,
There is no time for tea, Miss Sonia.
how about we stick to the plan to think one step at a time instead of expecting the answers all at once?
That's a long plan name.
One step at a time. What does that mean?
Let's focus on the spear first. Namely, where it was and how it was positioned just before it impaled Nagito.
How it was positioned.
It's stabbed directly into him. And it's perfectly upright. There's no way by swinging it round it could do that. If we remember the ceiling, I think what happened is he had it hanging from the ceiling and was holding the cord and let go to stab himself or something. I don't know. Something like that while he was lying down, maybe? Oh yes, it's a logic dive. I recognise that music. Oh no! Come on. Where was the spear just before it impaled Nagito? Above Nagito I'm gonna go for. Because I do think it came from the ceiling. Oh no! Ah! Bugger off. Need to start using the... Oh, bugger off! Using the brake more. Question 2. Besides the spear, what else was above Nagito? A ceiling girder. Oh, go away, please. What item connects both the spear and the ceiling girder? The spear's cord.
It's all coming together. The spear impaled Nagito as he was laying face up. It must have been perpendicular to him just before that.
Perpendicular? In the middle of the air?
If Nagito did that all by himself, did he have some sort of ESP?
No.
That'd be awesome, but he probably used the ceiling girder directly above him.
Nagito probably slung the cord over the ceiling girder, and using that as a support. He hoisted the spear directly above him. And if Nagito let go of the cord, the spear would have fallen and impaled him while he was laying face up.
I noticed a slight red streak on the ceiling girder. It probably got smeared there during the setup.
The blood on the cord probably rubbed off on the ceiling girder as the spear was falling.
Makes sense.
So, how about it? Using this method, Nagito could have impaled himself with the spear.
Are you serious? He really committed suicide? Like that?
He
Pretty horrific, really.
probably chose that spear so he could commit suicide like that. If someone else did this, there's no reason they'd go to all this trouble just to kill someone with a spear.
I agree. When I was investigating this case, I kept thinking over and over how strange it was. Why did the killer use the knife and the spear so differently?
So you're saying he needed to use that spear to pull off his trick?
Yep.
Then this is for real? He really committed suicide?
No, I still don't think so. I still don't think he committed suicide. I think he set everything up to commit suicide, but I think someone else got involved and actually killed him.
Every single wound on his body. That was all him?
Not just that, he did all that while he was gripping a spear? That spear should not have stabbed Nagito until the very end. Which means Nagito wounded himself while he was gripping that spear, right?
Did he put the duct tape on his mouth too?
He probably covered his own mouth so we wouldn't hear him screaming in pain.
Did he need to go that far? That's beyond crazy. Why would he do that to himself?
To become the ultimate hope.
He was probably trying to get us to make
Or
a
stir
mistake.
up the ultimate hope in everyone else.
By committing a suicide that looked like a murder, he was trying to steer us toward the wrong answer. His goal was to get us all executed.
And that's why he stabbed himself over and over again?
Did he want us to die that bad?
I don't think so.
It's seriously so messed up.
That's our Nagito.
Look at that face. How can it be evil?
However, there is one thing I still do not understand. He said he would reveal the traitor, right? Whatever became of that?
Because the trial will reveal the traitor, and that's what he wanted.
Planning to kill the traitor along with the rest of us.
So why did he not just do that in the first place? If he had no qualms with killing everyone, he did not have to cause a bomb scare to reveal the traitor.
I bet the bomb scare was part of the strategy behind this trick. He made us split up and search for a bomb so none of us would have an alibi. He created a scenario where any of us could have killed him.
He tried to make us doubt each other. And tried to hide the truth behind his suicide.
Did he cause a bomb scare for that reason alone?
He's a fucking bastard who killed himself for his delusions of grandeur. It's not that unthinkable.
You are right, I suppose.
Yeah, it appears we've come to a conclusion.
It's too soon, dude.
Bastard Nagito committed suicide. It was all done by him so we'd be executed.
That should be okay, right?
What? You're not satisfied yet?
No, I agree that Nagito killed himself, but I feel like there's something that doesn't make sense. It's probably just my imagination.
So what are you gonna do? Is it okay to proceed with the voting time?
No, it's too soon, Monokuma.
What do you think, Akane?
Well, there's no doubt Nagito's death was a suicide. Oh well, I guess my gut is wrong sometimes.
You are right. It is not as though we can draw any other conclusion.
Then it's okay to end it here, huh? That means we're done with this last class trial and we can leave this island, right? It's okay to reach such a happy ending, right?
Then it's okay? It's okay to say, you've decided on the killer? Understood. Then voting time.
No, hold on a sec.
Hold on. Why?
Sorry, just a little more. I want you guys to wait just a little more. I can't help but feel like there's still something we overlooked.
Like who the traitor is?
But the issue here is who killed Nagito, right? Even if we identify the traitor, the conclusion won't change.
That's true, but...
The mystery isn't just about who the traitor is. No matter how you look at it, Nagito's death is a suicide. But I'm a little worried, you know? I'm worried about starting the voting time while there's still a mystery.
Hey, what do you mean it's not about who the traitor is? What kind of mystery is left?
There's just one thing that doesn't make sense, and it relates to Nagito's death. Plus, it's something even Nagito couldn't influence. He couldn't even tamper with the evidence for it.
You're gonna keep going? Here I thought we were finally finished.
Too soon, Kazuichi. Monokuma file? He couldn't tamper with that.
Let's see. Is it about the Monokuma file?
Yeah, that's it.
Huh? There was something suspicious in the Monokuma file?
Remember, it was pointed out in the investigation. The victim is Nagito. The body was discovered inside the warehouse near the Monokuma plushie factory. The estimated time of death is oh my god! The estimated time of death is believed to be noon sharp. Not only is there a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are multiple stab wounds on each of his thighs. Furthermore, there is a laceration on his left arm and a knife impaled through his right hand. Oh, here we go, Hangman's Gambit. Cause of death. It's gotta be, hasn't it? There's too many here. Oh my god. I need an F, I need an F. Oh, I don't like this where it just like doesn't give you the letters you need. Now we need an A. Come on, A. Where are you? Lost a fair bit of health on that. So many letters on screen.
In this particular case's Monokuma file, there's no specific cause of death.
Not only is there a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are multiple stab wounds on each of his thighs. Furthermore, there is a laceration on his left arm and a knife impaled through his right hand. All the Monokuma files state the cause of death.
Until now, the files always specified the cause of death.
But the cause of death is obvious, is it not?
If it was obvious, it would have been pointed out in the Monokuma file.
It is obvious just by looking at it that it was the cause of death.
The only reason Monokuma wouldn't want to point it out is because it points to none of the... Well, it points to another cause of death than the obvious.
Maybe it's not included if it's not important enough to write about.
Well, Monokuma?
I plead the fifth! There he goes again! I'm so appalled that I have nothing to say.
But even during Gundam's case, and before during Mikan's case, the thing he purposely omitted from the Monokuma file was always the most important mystery in the case.
Are you saying that applies this time too?
Well, yeah, and that's why he hasn't submitted it.
Hold on a sec. Then, are you saying there's more to Nagito's death? Are you suggesting, again, that his death wasn't a suicide?
You guys were the ones who said it was a suicide in the first place.
There's no doubt in my mind he attempted to commit suicide, but he failed due to his ultimate luck and someone else stepped in. The traitor.
No, I don't think it's a mistake to call Nagito's death a suicide, but it's not just a suicide. Come to think of it, did Nagito really commit suicide just to get us all killed?
Are you sticking up for him?
That's not what I meant. I mean it in a bad sense.
Bad sense?
I just remembered that his malice always defied our expectations, and that concerns me. For example, would that malice just end here?
No.
Huh?
No, you'll never see the last of Nagito.
Did Nagito's malice drive him to risk his life for a truth we'd reach this easily? I mean, This is Nagito we're talking about, you know?
How interesting! You sure do believe in Nagito, huh? Because you believe in his malice, you continue to suspect his malice. I see. I guess that's what passes for friendship these days.
What friendship?
What should we do, you guys? Should we proceed with the vote? I think we should keep going until everyone is satisfied, even if it's just to be safe.
Oh, is she the traitor though? She's gotta be, man. I'm too suspicious of her, but she is proper leading this investigation.
You're right. We only get one chance to vote after all.
Unless she wants to reveal
Just to be
herself,
safe.
I don't know.
Guess I have no choice. If that's the case, I'll do my best to go along with it.
This is friggin' annoying. But if you guys say you're doing it, there's no way I'm gonna back out.
Hey, Monokuma, you heard us. The voting's gonna have to wait.
We've come this far. Let's work hard till the very end. If we work together, everything should be all right. That's what I believe.
Aww.
Aww.
Splendid. You guys are so splendid right now. That's right. If all your hopes are united, no despair can shake you.
Oh, it looks like it's the break in the class trial. Da da da.
No,
da,
no.
Da, 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 da. I was singing this to myself in the kitchen one day. My brother came in and was like, "What the hell are you singing? It sounds weird." Because that's the way my brother talks, apparently. She's sick of your shenanigans. I'm sick of you beating her up. How can a bear be a brother to a rabbit? I don't want to know. Well, now seems like the perfect time to stop the episode, guys, at the class trial break. So don't forget to like, comment, favourite and share the video, guys. Remember, all types of engagement help me out as a YouTuber. And as always, thank you for watching.